take that momentum and come back. See him coming. Move in for the strike. Hit. I'm going to strip the sword and come back with a thrust. His own knife, I'm going to come back through, and my arm's going to come here like, take the weapon, and I can end with the move there, or I can throw him away. That if I'm going against something like a sword, whoever controls the distance is going to control the fight. And this is true with any martial art. It doesn't matter if you're doing jiu-jitsu or kickboxing or knife versus sword. Whoever controls the distance right now is going to control the fight. So I'm going to start here. When he comes at me, I've got to move in, right? If I stay on the outside of this weapon, well, I'm going to be in big trouble right there. I just had my arms cut off. So I'm going to move in. And if you see what happened there is I took the knife and I put it against my arm so the knife becomes a part of my body. And I've had my knife hitting behind me. As soon as he comes in, I'm coming in to make that cut. Now I'm going to strike, and I'm going to pull back here on the sword like this. So as soon as I see him coming, move in for the strike. Hit. Now I have my knife, or the Tanto here, is catching the guard handle of the sword, and I'm going to strip the sword and come back with a thrust. I want you to have some fun with the knife. So when he strikes at me, I can get a little creative, right? Think about striking those vital areas here, reinforcing the knife with my hand, right to the armpit, coming back to the throat, back to the throat. If I didn't disarm him there, I could disarm him on the way down for sure. The sword is going to come from a side cut or an inside attack. So the sword's coming at this angle. Now, of course, I have my blade concealed behind me. One thing about my blade concealed behind me, maybe he doesn't know I have a blade, or maybe he doesn't know how large the blade is. So every time I can keep my blade concealed, it gives me an advantage in distance, and it gives me an advantage in surprise attack. So now, I'm blocking here, but if I just have my blade here, his weapon is very strong. This can come through, right? So it can come through my blade. So I'm going to reinforce it with my arm here like this. So my arm is reinforcing it. Now I have to move in, and I'm going to catch the guard handle of the sword. Now that I've caught the guard handle of the sword, I'm going to strip the blade here, and then I'm going to cut here to take his weapon. A principle that I learned in Filipino martial arts called defanging the snake. So if we have the snake and that's a spang, I'm going to defang that snake by hitting that weapon hand. I'll let you know that the weapon hand coming at you is generally the easiest hand to attack. Now, thinking about distance again, controlling that distance is really important. If I'm moving back and fading back, my distance might be here. However, if I'm moving in, I may be able to trap and control the weapon. I'd always prefer to trap and control the weapon because if I'm here and I miss or something like that, he comes at me with more momentum, right? So if I can get in and take that weapon right away, it's to my advantage. So the first strike is hitting him here, defanging the snake. But now I'm coming in and controlling him. Now for my control position, if he didn't drop his weapon from the initial strike, I've got to capture the weapon still. I can come here with my blade and catch the handle of the weapon and disarm this way, here like this, and then just come back for strikes. Or I have a powerful shoulder lock right here by bringing his arm up and then capturing and then applying pressure here. I can disarm the weapon as I do it this way, near the blade of the knife, but of course it's on the back of the knife or the handle. And then I still have control for any other technique.
does the original attack at me, all I want to do is defang the snake, push like he said, and then all I want to do is strike on the top of the hand. If this doesn't let them go, this hand has become useless, and now I can start stabbing.
If they come at us with the first strike and lead right into the second strike, okay, we're going to have to stop them here. So if it was a long range attack, I might be outside. However, I would prefer to get inside on those techniques here, right? Now if I'm here, I can wrap, and let's turn this way to the camera. So let's go this way a little bit. If you notice, he can't pull his weapon hand back to attack me. He can't get his hand out of there. So from that position, I can continue to strike him like this as I disarm that weapon hand.
So here.
Now he's going to wrap my arm. Now you can see the weapon hand back there. I can't pull this back out to get him, and then he's striking me. I'm going to be in big trouble there. When the strike comes, oh, I stop it, but I didn't get the wrap. So in the last encounter, we were here, arm inside, and I wrap. But in this next one, I don't get the wrap. Whoa, so I'm here. That one probably hurt. I got you pretty good on that one. And so now I'm capturing here like this. Because he was already coming at me, I might be able to take that momentum and come back for a throw or an attack. And if I can control this hand here, disarming this way, striking his hand, I'll strip that blade and I'll be able to win the confrontation. So now we're going to have some Tanto or knife versus empty hand. So this situation when he strikes at me, whether it be a thrust or whether he's putting the knife up against me, probably one of the easiest techniques we have is the outside control to the outside wrist lock. So go ahead and come at me a little bit. So I'm here. I'm using my forearm, not facing my palm forward, because if he pulls the knife back, he's cutting the arteries right there. So I'm blocking here instead. So if he pulls the knife back, he's still going to cut me, but he's not cutting the arteries. And I'm going to capture the knife as fast as I can, of course. From here, I'm going to apply the outside wrist lock. And in the outside wrist lock, Omote Gyaku, I have the opening with the handle here, and I can just take the handle from him and come back for the cut. This works very well, and it's a really good technique to practice if you're simply just having the blade up against your partner, and it becomes a really, oh, I like that one. It becomes a good way to practice that catch. So if he has the blade right up against me, I can just practice the catch. So oftentimes I'll have training partners or students just practice this catch for a while, get confident with that catch, and then turn it to the outside wrist lock. If you notice the technique, I think you did this. Did you do this technique here? That's a good one. So that's a great technique right there. Oh, yeah. In that scenario, we saw Nick from here use his forearm. My forearm is not going to be hitting the blade or the tip of the blade like that, the tip of the knife, but it's here like this, and I'm punching through to disarm. I do like to have control of the weapon here, so if anytime I can control the weapon, I feel I have an advantage. If I send the blade flying, he may be able to grab it, and I might not get so lucky the next time, right? But if I'm able to keep the weapon, it's certainly an advantage. So in this scenario, I'm striking towards my opponent, and he's stepping out of the way. So he's using good footwork and good movement, creating that angle, moving himself out of the way, and he's hitting a block with his forearm. That block and that forearm strike could disarm the blade. So think a block can be a strike, and a strike can be a block. So this could disarm me right now, Now he's captured my arm, and he has pressure here on my bicep. It's like a bicep lock, but he also has takiori, mote takiori, pushing that wrist straight down, which means breaking the bamboo. And if you've ever seen anyone's wrist break this way, it's like bamboo shooting out. I saw that at a jiu-jitsu tournament once. So. My jiu-jitsu techniques, my traditional jiu-jitsu techniques won't work from this angle, because if I attempt something like an easy throw like ippon seonagi, where I would throw it this way or maybe even drop to my knees to throw, when we land on the ground, I'm going to end up impaling myself with the knife possibly. So I'm going to trap his arm against me. So if he tries to cut me, he can't cut me because he's trapped. Now I'm going to go underneath him this way. And from going underneath him, I'm cutting him right here. So I've got a stab right there. And I bring my arm that's closest to him up, and I apply a shoulder lock. Now we're not quite done with the move yet, but after the shoulder lock, I'm going to grab the handle of the knife, and now I can strike him. And I can also come here to his throat and pull back on his throat as I push forward on his shoulder to roll him away. Pinning the arm against me so he can't cut me. I turn underneath, and I'm gonna thrust him with his own knife. See? Boom, right there. And after I thrust him with his own knife, I'm gonna come back through, and my arm's gonna come here like this, right on his shoulder, so I have control with just that arm. You can strike from here, you can hit from here, but we have to remember the weapon is still in his hand. So I'm gonna take the weapon, and I can end with the move there, or I can throw him away. This last technique is one of my favorite techniques. And this one, he has the knife to my side, so he's controlling me here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trap the knife against my body. So it's hard for him to pull the knife out and stab me or to cut me because I'm pinning it. And now that I have the knife pinned, I turn away. And when I turn away, it pulls the knife from his hand like this, so it disarms the knife. So I pull away, and then I recapture the knife and strike. Out of every knife technique that I know, this is the one technique that I thought was probably the least practical, but I had a jiu-jitsu instructor of mine, about 20 years, come up behind me with this very tanto right here. Now I know it's not real, it's a wooden knife, but he came up behind me while I was speaking to another student, and he goes, "What are you gonna do?" And I trapped his arm, and I took the knife, and then I thrust him back with the knife, and it worked flawlessly. And that made him a believer in my knife fighting techniques. And so that was a great day. So one of the only ones that I really thought would never work actually became the one that I actually did at one time. Of course. So here I'm trapping, turning, and then thrusting at my opponent with the blade. So we're going to end with just a really simple 5-count drill. It's a lot of fun. It's easy to do for any level of martial artists, and it's just a very basic principle that we talked about earlier of defanging the snake. So I'm going to strike at my opponent here. I'm going to strike at Nick, and I'm going to come at him with this angle, and he's just going to attack the blade hand. And then I'm going to come here, and he's going to attack the blade hand. Now I'm going to come here, attacking the blade hand, attacking the blade hand. And when I come and thrust at him, he's going to strike down to attack the blade. Now he's going to do the same angles at me. So we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. If you notice, I stayed a little bit on the outside, and Nick moved a little bit on the inside.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, that works just fine. I'll address that in a second. What happened? Oh man, that last one got me. So what happened there is Nick, he moved in fairly close. And so if that knife comes in and we get up real close, you come here, I'm up real, whoa, look at how close I am there. I can do something we call riding the knife, where I can bring the knife through, trap, and come back. You want to try that one on me?
Yeah, sure.
So you come here. So it's actually going to be like forearm to forearm, and then you're going to guide me here, trap, and then thrust. Yep, so that's a good one. So come at me again. So we're really close. So that's a very close range technique that we're doing. So the furthest range is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're pretty far away right there. The next range is here. Oh, see what I'm doing here? I'm able to parry his hand. He comes back, I'm able to parry his hand, see? So I'm parrying the knife on those. Okay. So I'm parrying, so you can try that. 1, 2. Good. So we start a little further away, then we get a little closer, and then the real close range, we're here. You can come at me with this angle also. Here, see how my forearm's blocking, then control the knife. And look, we're right back to some of the techniques we did at the beginning. All right, you guys, thank you for liking and subscribing to the channel. We're going to keep rolling out more ninjutsu techniques for you guys. And if you want to check out a complete curriculum from white belt to black belt, you can check out my whole program at teamthirdheaven.com.